So please don't do that. And but I just wanted you to understand where he was coming from. It isn't that he hates you, wants to beat you up or something like that. It was his way of trying to communicate that you're under God's righteous judgment unless you turn from your sins.
Michael Roth?
That's the abortion. Did I hear you right when you said Operation Rescue is a non-violent?
Right. Operation Rescue is non-violent.
Well, Terry, who is the leader of Operation Rescue, it advocates bombings of clinics. I have seen articles. In fact, I have one right in here. Terry says, we bomb the clinics. We go out, it's Randall. We go out and we have to use violence. So to say Operation Rescue is non-violent, I would differ on that. But, and another, I guess, more comment. My stance on abortion has gone back and forth throughout my years. But what I took the biggest issue was your Hitler side with the fetuses, and knowing right off the bat that the church was one of the first things that condemned the Jews and actually brought them in so they could exterminate them, and blaming it on Hitler when the church was actually the start of it before Hitler even got into power. That just boggles my mind. And I kind of want to know why you use... I don't mind the fetuses, well, I do mind, but I mean, put Hitler and blame it on Hitler and take it off the church, to me, is just abhorrent.
Well, I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about in Germany, right before Hitler took power?
In Europe, the Roman Catholics, the church in general, said the Jews are sinners, they do not believe Jesus Christ, so they're condemned to death.
Yeah, well, everyone who doesn't receive Christ is condemned.
Right, but the church actually rounded up the Jews and said, we need to kill them.
Yeah.
From 1928 to 1931, they killed 20,000 Jews. The church killed these people.
Well, I don't know anything about that. But anyways,
I would,
our point in showing this comparison is we disagree with what was done in the German Holocaust to the Jews. And we disagree with what's happening to the slaughter of the innocent preborn. So the parallel we're drawing was what happened to the Jews was state-sanctioned murder. And what's happening to the preborn is state-sanctioned murder. Both countries made the killing of different people groups legal, so we're just drawing the analogy. This is what they were guilty of then. This is what we're guilty of tolerating as Americans today.
Well, even if they're not comparable, I was still cautioned about using that kind of analogy because the church was involved in a lot of the slave trade and the execution of Jews. And I'm not saying that it's your church's fault, but I mean, a lot of people are going to group those things together. And on college campuses, you're going to find more people are more educated about the church's role in killing of the Jews and killing of women, of just, the slave trade and stuff like that.
I've noticed that they seem to be well educated on anything bad they can find in history about Christians or the church, and seem to know nothing about any of the good. And I find that interesting. Your thing on Randall Terry, I know Randall Terry, and he's never said that, and I'm sure you found it in writing, because listen, you can put my name into your internet tonight, put Matthew Truella in, and you'll get 17 screenfuls of websites saying all kinds of things about me, which I could sit down with you and tell you are bald-faced lies.
So you're saying that it was just misqualification?
Oh, definitely. I know Randall, and he's never, in fact, he's bent over backwards to condemn those who use force to try to protect the freedom. And so I know for a fact that statement's not true. So
there's an Operation Rescue behind some of the violent protests?
No, not at all. See, Operation Rescue even had a form that you had to sign, that you were committed to nonviolence and that you would not act in any violent way. There was people, of course, within you have any big movement. I mean, you had 60-some thousand arrested. There was people who, participated with Operation Rescue who later used force, or even prior to participating may have used force. But, Operation Rescue as an organization preached nonviolence.
Thanks again for showing up.
Sure.
I can't reiterate that.
Patient woman from Bangladesh.
I have a question. You're saying here that we're all coming to hell, and when I came, I was offered literature and it's written piece, and I gave it back because I did not agree with it, and I was yelled at and told that I was going to hell, and everything else, and I simply said, I do not believe in God. I do not believe in any type of God. into the university center, which was in lots of little factories. He had the man start following me and yelling.
What did the person look like?
He had a black jacket. I was trying to avoid him. You didn't ask his name?
That was it, a black jacket? I mean, any other features?
He had jeans and a black jacket. I was trying to avoid him simply because
Young, old, middle-aged?
Middle-aged. He did not seem to be in college. And if you want literature to be looked at, and you want us to look at it, you can't, how do you justify going around telling us that we're going to hell and we're bad and we're evil? I mean, if you're just going to stand there and tell college kids that all you're going to do is turn them to hate you, and I basically will not look at anything else from not only your organization, but other organizations like you, simply because I was harassed and don't agree with it.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up because this helps me in formulating a little training, with people who come out and help us. The other girl who's gone now brought up the fact that you won't win any people to God. Well, we've seen people won to God and people totally switch their position on abortion just in the tours that we've done so far. And so everybody's different. Your experience was bad. I can bring people in here who had a good experience with us, but clearly that's not right if someone's following you. You didn't want the literature, and they keep following you and preaching to you. That's not right. And so I don't know those things. But about the health thing, you want to know about the health thing?
No. How do you get people to agree with you and follow you and win them over if you're telling them they're condemned to hell?
Because I'm not trying to get them to follow me or join with us. Our King is Christ, and we declare His gospel. All men everywhere need to repent and believe in Him in order to be made right with God. And so that's the message we preach, in a nutshell. I mean, we talk a lot.
Alderman Matt Flipiak.
Alderman?
Yeah, I do represent this board too, so I'm very concerned about the comments about hateful things with groups coming. I found out that you get people that come with you from the communities in, so first I asked where you're from, Milwaukee, and then I part of the psychotherapy and sensitivity training workshops and stuff, so I highly recommend you and your people there do that. As sensitive as you might be, still do it and learn about how to train people as well. Two comments. One would just be, as anybody, I would recommend to reach out and really embrace and learn, educate yourselves about as many, I'm sure you have, freaks of other religions and other ways of life and other people's redemption and other people's visions of nirvana, heaven, bliss, and just the fact that, because in Christianity, only the population of Christians represents about 1 billion, there's less of it, I don't know, out of 6 billion, and there's more total people masses, so if you look at the scale, it's like, well, if you look at from just an open perspective to know who to follow as a clear-minded person, they're all equally valid. They all speak of just loving each other. There's a very simple message behind it all. So that love, I encourage you to embrace, other ways of life. Just learn some more diversity in your own ways of life. And then two, the big thing I want to bring up is missionaries to the preborn. From a global perspective, you might be addressing a very individual, the abortion issue, but there's killing going on at a large scale with the decimation of our environment, and I know that you might be repentant now, but your actions and my actions do kill and do pollute and do destroy our ecosystem that sustains us and our Mother Earth, or Father Sky, if you want to believe in ways of the indigenous people pre-Christ that did fine with them too. And I just would, I'd take some of your passions and try and work on some of those issues, like spread it out, diversify. The preborn is being, there's babies being born in areas of intense industry that are formed and, don't even really have a life because they're pretty much born dead. I'm sure there are dead born babies because of industrial waste and agriculture and pollution and chemicals, and I just encourage you to educate on that too and kind of look into that. Just to diversify diversity is great. The more diversity we have in anything, biodiversity, anything that sustains us all. So diversifying here, I just encourage stretching out some of the environmental impacts on food time.
I want to thank